We start in the United States, where Donald Trump has denounced the International Criminal Court, accusing it of illegitimate and baseless actions against the US and Israel. In an executive order sanctioning the court, he said it had abused its power by issuing arrest warrants for the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his former Defence Minister Yoav Gallant. The court alleges they committed war crimes and crimes against humanity in Gaza. Well, on Thursday, Mr Netanyahu met top US lawmakers on Capitol Hill. Neither Israel nor the US is a member of the ICC or recognises its jurisdiction. Let's speak now to our correspondent, Joe Inwood, who's in Jerusalem for us. And Joe, what kind of a difference does this sanctioning make for Benjamin Netanyahu, for whom, we have to remember, the ICC has issued an arrest warrant for?
It is worth pointing out that neither the US, as you said before, or Israel recognise the court. And so in terms of the practical implications, it's quite difficult to know what those would be. I mean, it might alter the judgments. Might this decision by the Trump administration alter the judgments of other countries who are signatories as to whether they might try and execute any arrest warrant? That's very difficult to know. One of the things that has been said this morning is that these sanctions, this was from a former employee, might impact the ability of the ICC to carry out its function. But what we can say for certain is that this decision has been very warmly welcomed by Prime Minister Netanyahu, fresh off the back of his meeting with Donald Trump. They've previously described the court as anti-Semitic and saying its judgment draws false equivalence between Israel and Hamas. So they're very, very pleased to see this from Donald Trump. We haven't heard from the ICC itself yet, but we have heard from other governments who seem to be very disappointed in the decision.
And let's bring you back to earlier in the week when Donald Trump shocked the world, maybe even Benjamin Netanyahu himself, with that idea to redevelop Gaza into a sort of holiday report. He made that announcement at his press conference with the Israeli leader earlier this week. Music to the ears of some hardliners in Israel, some of whom have begun to act on it. What's the latest there?
Well, certainly to put out statements suggesting that they want to act on it. We heard from the Defence Minister yesterday, Israel Katz, who said he's informed the IDF, the military here, to start making preparations to allow for the voluntary withdrawal or voluntary removal of Gazans. Now, it's interesting that they're actually not going as far, it seems, as President Trump did. He's talked about it essentially being forced. We should say that would be a crime under international law, whereas the Israeli politicians, certainly the more senior ones we've heard speak, are framing this as giving Palestinians, giving Gazans the option to leave. Now, it is very much worth pointing out that that will be met with some scepticism, you could say, by people who would say that the Palestinians, the Gazans, have been denied that right for many, many years. And so it is interesting timing that the Israeli government decide that the freedom to move is a right they should be given at this point.
Joe Inwood in Jerusalem, thank you very much.